Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Extension Office Friday, and we have yet another newbie on the Zooms with us. Candace DeLong is joining us. She is the newest extension agent for Frederick County. There are a bunch of you coming in. It's like a new crop of extension agents, Candace. How cool is that?
That's exactly how you want to start an extension career, I think. Yeah, I'm very excited to be one of three newbies.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How did you end up in extension and then in particular in Frederick County?
I've been an extension agent in neighboring Hampshire County, West Virginia, which is just the county right to the west of Frederick, for the past 6 years. So that job was a little bit different because I covered all areas of agriculture. Now, in this new job in Frederick County, I'm just the consumer horticulture agent. So I do home gardening and green industry questions, and I work a lot with the master gardeners, whereas before I did all areas of agriculture. So this is a little bit smaller focus.
Fruit trees and all of the things, I guess. So this is going to be, I hope, a little bit easier, particularly because you have that team of master gardeners behind you. That's going to make it a lot easier.
Yes, 150 of them. So that's quite the powerhouse right there.
So how did you end up in Frederick County? Are you from here originally?
I'm not from here. I'm from Anderson, Indiana, so the middle of Indiana. But I first moved to Frederick County 13 years ago, I think, to go to Virginia Tech. So this is kind of my full circle moment coming back to Virginia Tech. I was a grad student, so I got my master's there, but I wasn't really on campus in Blacksburg. I was here in Winchester doing research at the Alison H. Smith Research Lab outside of town. So I did research there, and then I worked in the apple industry in Frederick County for about 3 years. And then is when I got my extension job. So I've kind of been in related positions. I was a grad student at Virginia Tech, and then I worked in the apple industry where I benefited from extension as a grower. And then I worked for extension. So I've seen all sides.
It really does come in handy sometimes getting your proper education, but then working in the field in all these other areas gives you, I think, such a more well rounded ability to help anybody who may call you with a question.
Yeah, I'm so glad I took 3 years and just worked in an apple orchard. And that was a lot of problem solving. I was out in the field and figuring out diseases and insects and bugs and all of those weed issues and how to deal with them. And it was a lot of honestly driving around Frederick County to get to different orchards. So I have a good background of driving around Frederick County and finding places too. So yeah, that was really valuable time for me.
What was it about Virginia Tech and a career field in agriculture that attracted you in the first place?
I wanted to do something with plants, and I was kind of fascinated with how the apple industry worked. And going into my master's degree, I really didn't know anything about it, but I did learn. But that basic plant knowledge, that's what I was after. I really wanted to study horticulture. And through that master's degree, I learned a lot of horticulture, but I also learned how to be a scientist, really, how to go through the scientific method and a lot of that problem solving. My project was on crop load management in orchards and something like that, but I really was learning how to be a scientist and a problem solver. And I wanted to do that with plants. And that's how I ended up here.
And so much of extension is that science based problem solving. I've talked about it so many times over the years. Even your predecessor, Joanne Royalty, when she would do the shows with me, we would always talk about home remedies versus science based things for pest
Right.
control, for fungus, for all of the things. That comes in pretty handy.
Yeah, knowing how to successfully solve problems. That's a lot of what we do in extension for sure.
And you're also very lucky because, again, over the years, I've talked to maybe not all 150 of those master gardeners, but I've talked to a pretty big chunk of them. And they are the most welcoming group of people. And they always want to teach people stuff, but they also always want to learn something new. So that's going to be a really great dynamic for you.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I started, I think, 3 weeks ago. And the first week I started, they had the indoor plant clinic, which I got to go to. And then the second week, they had the seed exchange. So I started at the perfect time to get to go to those two events and meet that group. They've been really great and they're already doing a lot of wonderful projects.
And I want to make sure people understand because I've talked a lot about the master gardeners and people see them set up at farmers markets. They know that you have the help desk where people can bring in their items or call with questions about things. And I think sometimes it gets lost in our conversations that the master gardener program is a part of Virginia Cooperative Extension. It's not a separate entity necessarily. It's a program of extension. Is that right?
It's a program across the United States, just like our extension offices are in every county in the whole United States. Not all of them have master gardener programs, but those master gardener programs are part of the extension office in, I would say, the majority of counties. So it's a nationwide extension program.
And it certainly takes a lot of the responsibility off of your shoulders and your shoulders alone to have a team that is able to answer people's questions and to be out in the public in all of the places because you are only one person. You are not going to be able to do the work of 150 other people.
So I came from a county where I had a few master gardener, but it was a pretty rural county, so there's not as many people. And I was used to getting all of those questions that come into the office and finding the answer for all of the agriculture questions. And then coming to Frederick County, where there's a whole team answering those questions is like, wow, this is very different, but it's nice. And it's fun to talk with those ladies about their process for problem solving, especially because I've been getting questions at an office for 6 years. So to hear how they've been doing it is really cool. We have like similar, it's been a connection because I've worked my own green helpline, so to speak, being a county agent in Hampshire County and hearing how they do it. But I haven't had to answer very many since I've been here. So it's not bad. It's a good deal.
And Hampshire County is fairly similar to us here. I know sometimes extension agents come, like you mentioned earlier, that you're actually from Indiana. Well, the
Mhm.
climate and the growing seasons and all of the things are very different in Indiana than they are here in the Shenandoah Valley. But Hampshire is close enough that there are a lot more similarities probably than there are differences.
Oh yeah, the growing conditions are very similar. I know if you drive from like the west side of Frederick County down into Winchester, because you are going down, there are temperature differences between Hampshire County and Winchester, but it's like 2 degrees warmer in the city of Winchester than it is in Cape and Bridge, West Virginia. So that's the difference between Hampshire County and Frederick County. There's just more hills.
You have an office in Winchester. Who do you share that office with? I know the Master Gardeners are there now because they're doing the
Yeah.
helpline, but how does the office situation look?
Yeah, so my office is in the Frederick County office, but I do cover the 5 counties that the Master Gardener group covers. So we cover Frederick, Clark, Warren, Page, and Shenandoah in the city of Winchester. But my office is in Frederick, so that's where I can be found. But I have an office and I share that office with the Master Gardener volunteers that do the Green Helpline, but that's on Wednesday. So if you wanted to come into the office and visit that Green Helpline on Wednesdays from 10 to noon, I will be in there, or the master gardeners will be usually me plus master gardeners will be in that office.
If I'm not mistaken from conversations in the past, sometimes there are cookies and there is tea.
When I just left that office to go into another office to do this interview, and there was cake, chocolate, Valentine's Day cake that I get to have after this. So I think this, once again, is going to work out pretty well for me, for sure.
And then do you work with Mark Sutphin, for example, or do the two of you work together out of the same office?
Yes. So Mark is also in our office. So he will, with me coming in as an extension agent doing consumer horticulture, he will get to do more commercial horticulture. So he'll be able to do, which he's been doing this for as long as he's been an agent, of course, but he will do more of the tree fruit extension, more vegetable, more of those grower people that are running and making money off their operations. He's our what's called a unit coordinator in the office too. So he's kind of managing things with our Frederick County office. But yep, he's in the same office as me.
And he's probably very grateful that you're now on board because you're right. His forte has always been the commercial side. And then once there was no agent there, he kind of had to cover all of those bases too.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot. And he was when I was working in the orchard, he was the extension agent that helped me out the most. So I've known Mark for a little while.
I'm going to say on the air because I know he'll listen to this one that I used to know Mark Sutphin, but he's like a ghost to me now because he hasn't done the show in a very, very, very long time. So I'm hoping that guilt will set in and he'll come back.
He's a busy guy. He is away at a professional development training, and I believe they were going whale watching. So,
All right, I'll cut him a little bit of slack because I'm pretty sure I would choose whale watching over doing a show with
yeah,
Mark.
so he was
So
going to
I'll
be,
give him a break.
yeah, he was supposed to be on with me today, but yeah, I guess we'll let it slide.
Let's take a break and we come back. Let's talk a little bit more about the master gardeners and just about what your day to day might look like and the duties that you'll have there in the office in Frederick County, as well as all of the surrounding counties. Can we do that in the next segment?
That sounds great.
We are on the Zoom today with Candace DeLong. She is the new Frederick County Extension Agent, though, as she mentioned, she does serve all 5 of our surrounding areas. We're going to come back and talk more with her in just a couple of minutes.
United Way of the Northern Shenandoah Valley is inviting nonprofits to help map the region's nonprofit safety net. If your organization serves Winchester City, Frederick, Clark, Warren, Shenandoah, or Page counties, we encourage you to take our regional nonprofit survey. The information collected will help identify gaps, support collaboration, and inform community leaders and funders. The survey takes about 30 minutes and is available at unitedwaynsv.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Extension Office Friday, and we are talking today with Candace DeLong. She is a Frederick County Extension agent. She's based in the Frederick County office. However, like all of our other extension agents, serves all 5 of our surrounding counties. And Candace, you mentioned earlier, I was joking with you during the break that you started a little over 3 weeks ago. And I was telling you how lucky you were that you have had 3 weeks under your belt, because poor Cynthia Fairbanks did the show with me last month, and she had only been on the job for a matter of hours when she was recording the show. So you at least have gotten your feet wet so far.
Yeah, a little bit. The last 3 weeks have been good. I've done a lot of just getting situated, a lot of meeting with master gardeners and talking to them about what they're doing. I mentioned in the previous segment, I've got to go to some of their events, which has been great. What they do takes a lot of effort. So there's lots of meetings behind every event to make them successful. So I've got to go to some of those. Virginia Cooperative Extension offers an amazing amount of professional development. So I've got to do all kinds of those orientation type things. I've got to go with Cynthia on some farm visits, which has been another perk of starting with other agents. You have somebody to go out with you and meet people. So that's been really great. And I don't think Liz has been on the show yet, but you'll meet our 3rd agent soon.
And she's based in Clark County. She's going to be a Clark County agent, again, serving all of us, but that's where her home base is going to be, right?
Yeah, so Liz is in Clark County, which is super exciting because they haven't had an agent based there, I think in 15 years, somebody said. And she has a lot of good experience too. So the 3 of us, it's perfect time to start, like I said earlier. So there's been a lot of meeting the agents that are already in the county. And yesterday I visited the Shenandoah County office. So I've just been visiting other offices and meeting people and going to events. My job is a little bit unique because typically when you start an extension, you have this blank slate. You don't have programs already lined out. And I have an incredible list of Master Gardener programs that I could support that team that's already doing great work. That's not usually the case when you start new.
It is kind of lucky for you that you've got this already existing entity that you're able to work with. And that's why so much of what you're going to be doing, what you've done, and then what you're going to be doing is being out in the public, letting everybody know who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of the most fun part of all of it, really.
Yeah, it is. I like office days and getting stuff done, but you can't sit in the office all the time.
One of the most important things I think too, when we're talking about different programs, is the helpline. You mentioned earlier that on Wednesdays they're there in the Frederick County office for people to physically come in if they want, but all of the counties offer a help desk. They all have the ability for somebody to email something with a question and maybe photos of why is my tree doing this or what is eating my tomatoes, all of those kinds of things. That's an incredibly valuable resource that the master gardeners through extension provide to the community.
Yeah, so it's not just the Frederick County helpline that's going on right now in the other room. Each county has their helpline and has specific times that they are in and answering questions, but each county has a specific email address as well. So if you wanted to go to the helpline in Shenandoah County, which I think is once a month on a Friday, they have an email that you could email them to. So each county really has their own green helpline desk over. So you don't have to come into the Frederick County office if you live in Shenandoah, or the Warren County has a Ask a Master Gardener green helpline desk as well. So you can go to your specific county if you wanted.
And then they set up too at all kinds of events. I mentioned earlier that typically when farmers market season rolls around, they're usually May through I think October in our area. You'll a lot of times find the master gardeners set up at those events that are willing to answer questions and give information about resources.
Oh yeah, we're at a farmers market here in Frederick County and the Clark County Farmers Market. That group does one. There are a lot of other booths that we go to and like take our green helpline on the road, so to speak. So if you don't want to come to the office and you're going to those events anyways, definitely stop by and talk to the group that's manning those tables. This Frederick County team is planning this elaborate Ask a Master Gardener booth for the Garden Fest that's in June, and it's going to be complete with a prize wheel. You'll get rewarded for bringing in your questions.
I love that. And Garden Fest is one of my all-time favorite events. I don't think I have missed an event in probably 10 years. We always go. And I've learned over the years, the perk to doing the show is I get the inside scoop on things about when to get there and bringing my own wagon and all of the things that is good information to have when you're going to attend an event that is pretty large. I mean, that event at Belle Grove is a really big event for the Master Gardeners.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have learned all the ins and outs yet, but that event is something I attended as just a community member before I was even in Extension, because it really is a big deal. But what I love the most is our Master Gardeners. They get really excited about it. Like they're pumped for Garden Fest and they're really invested and they can't wait, and they're putting a lot of effort in now and last fall to plan this event. So they do a great job. So I'm excited to be an insider this year, maybe get some good plans. Yeah.
And I would imagine that they're probably planning, all of the different Master Gardener groups are planning to do something in celebration of Earth Day in April, because that kind of goes hand in hand with gardening as well.
Right. There's at least one event in each county that's going to have a Master Gardener booth. It looks like there's a new Stephen City Earth Day festival that's happening that will be there. There's a couple other Earth Day festivals. There's one at Clark County, looks like at the Clark County Fairgrounds. They'll be at that one. And then the weekend before, there's a Red Bud Festival in Browntown. That's probably also.
Well, that's a big festival too. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be there, and it looks like Seven Bends Nursery is having a celebration. They'll be there too. So the 2 weekends surrounding Earth Day are going to be, that group will be out and about with their information for sure.
And I've already scheduled John Kime to do a show talking about Clark County's Earth Day. So they'll at least get a plug and a shout out from me during that episode too.
Yeah, they will be there. Look for the Ask a Master Gardener booth.
What has been your favorite thing so far? I mean, I know you haven't been there very long, but is there something now that when you get up in the morning and head to the office, you're always looking forward to doing?
There's a lot of things. I think right now it's a lot of information. Like I've been in Extension, but there's some changes, and being in charge of just one area is different. But kind of figuring out that information and learning every day, not only how to manage Master Gardener groups or volunteers, but just the group's all about learning. I get to learn along with them. I get to learn through their educational hours that they get to do, and taking in all that information is really exciting for me. So that's it's a lot at the beginning, but it's also why I want to go to work, because I want to keep learning. I've always wanted to just keep learning.
So before we wrap up, I have to ask, what does your garden look like at home?
I have a 1-year-old. My 1-year-old has just went through a phase where if I set her on the ground next to me while I'm gardening, everything goes in her mouth. So for the past year, it's not been my best attempt, but I have a lot of raised beds and I have a lot of unique apple trees, different apple tree cultivars. So that's what I'm doing, although the last year it's definitely not been maintained, because every time I put her down, it goes into her mouth. So hopefully this year that doesn't have to be monitored quite as closely and I can get some things done. So
Well, and hopefully once you have, like, if you're growing tomatoes or cucumbers or things like that in a vegetable garden setting, that's a good thing because now she can taste them as they come right out of the garden and it will make her
Right.
more vegetable and fruit friendly.
Yes, I call it the snack garden. So we plant a snack garden that can be trampled on and the vines can be pulled down and they get excited about it. Yeah, you have to strategically plan the garden for the children. So it's definitely could use some work. My garden could use some work.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time today to introduce yourself and let me learn a little bit more about you. Because, like I said, you and I are gonna be working together, I think, a lot over the next coming year. So you're gonna get tired of talking to me, I'm sure.
Oh, thanks for talking to me. It's great to meet you, and it's been great.
And I will, in the show notes page, put the link to the Master Gardeners. I'll put the information for the help desks in all the different counties, your email address in case people want to reach out to you. And I'll have all of that information in the show notes for people to be able to click through as well.
That's perfect. There's a lot of great resources, even online, that our Master Gardeners offer. So check those out for sure.
I will be back on Monday with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon. So meet me here then.